Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
This is Mira Business FM. It's the morning drive. And next, how AI-driven data competitions are changing business decision-making. Now, AI, as we all know, is transforming how companies make decisions. But what if the smartest solutions didn't come from one expert or just one company, but from thousands of minds competing to solve the same problem? That's the question. Now, Jadd Elliott Dib is the founder and CEO of Pangaea X, which is essentially an AI-powered data ecosystem. And what it does is it uses gamified data competitions to solve real-world business and community challenges, from kind of analytics and machine learning to issues like maybe traffic or operational efficiency. Jadd, it's good to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You and I share a name, not much more than that, unfortunately. You're a former Deloitte consultant.
Yep.
You've won awards as a tech entrepreneur. You're a known voice in this region's, I guess, AI and data innovation space. That's fair to say. I'm none of those. How did you find yourself here with Pangaea X? First of all, before we get into the nitty-gritty, what's your story?
My story.
Yeah.
Well, going back all the way, I was born and raised in Europe. I was brought up with a entrepreneur-like type of father that always worked for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So working for someone was always temporary for me. So
Was he a guy that was always you'll never make any money, Jadd, unless you do it yourself? Was he one of those guys?
Somewhat. It was more, why work for somebody else? Why make somebody else money when you can make your own money and keep it? You know, like why invest your money, your time, your effort, your brain into somebody else's success rather than investing in yourself?
Sure.
From there, I mean, I grew up in the south of Spain, so I was exposed to a lot of different cultures and a lot of different nationalities. I went to the UK for university. And then I ended up here in Dubai as for a summer internship during my university last year, and got offered a job, and the rest is history. I couldn't not say yes. I fell in love with Dubai, and I felt like Dubai was just beginning. You know, it was just starting when I first moved here. So I felt like there was an opportunity. So I said,
When did you first move
here? 2014.
Right. Okay. Things were really picking up, I guess.
Yep.
It happens to a lot of us, doesn't it? I came for 2 years in 1999, and I don't know where the time went.
You're still here?
Yeah, apparently. Some would argue, maybe not. Look, for listeners who may not be, really au fait with tech, deep in tech,
Sure.
I need to get you to, explain this really. What is AI-driven gamification of data? Why should businesses care about that?
So the way we've done it, there's multiple different ways you can put this, but the way we've done it is we take data, whether it's data directly from companies or in some instances generated by AI, right? We create problems out of them, and those problems we ask the public to kind of come up with a solution. Because what's the logic with limiting ourselves to one consultant or one consulting house that has 10 brains? Right? We live in such a globalized world where we have access to all of us, right? To ourselves, where we're all interconnected. We have access to the best and brightest minds, whether it be in the western side of the world or in the eastern side or Middle East or Europe. We have access. We're all connected through internet, through everything, right? So why not just put your problem out there and let the best minds come together and come up with a solution for you? Why should we limit ourselves to let me outsource to a consulting house that has 10 employees and let them come up with a solution for me? Maybe they won't. So I would always argue, we're going towards this age of AI.
Yeah.
AI, there's no number I can put on it, right? But if we're talking about AI, then we're talking about the capacity or the brain or the knowledge of millions or hundreds of millions of brains put together, right? So our best chance to not compete, but to make ourselves still relevant, is to all come together. Is to all come together and try and come up with a solution all together, right? AI might not be able to solve everything all the time, and maybe people still are under the impression that they don't want to trust, they don't want to adapt AI, they don't want this, so they're still looking for the human touch. So I'm trying to connect everybody to the world's problems.
So this is, I mean, it's that phrase, isn't it? It's that collective genius phrase that we're
Yes,
starting to hear,
yes,
really.
yes.
You're a believer in that. So it's kind of, I don't know, crowdsourcing intelligence?
Yeah, I like to just call it crowd problem solving, to be honest. Like
Simple, yeah,
when
yeah.
somebody wanted to crowdfund their new idea, they expressed their idea, and everybody that started buying in and so on and giving a little bit of investment. It's the same thing, one person might not be able to solve your entire problem, but if you put it out there, people can start working together.
Do you know what it seems like to me? And I mean this as a compliment. It seems like good old-fashioned common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But like we were talking before the show, um, us as human beings, sometimes we forget the most simplest things, like common sense.
Uh, I've said it a million times, and we say it constantly. It seems to be on this program. Maybe it should tell me something, but common sense ain't that common,
Yep.
unfortunately.
And not everybody has it.
Yeah, for sure. It, I want to come to your thoughts on AI in a minute, because it's interesting to me, your opinion of AI
Yeah.
as opposed to your
Sure.
working in the industry. But increasingly, you're working with universities in the Emirates, aren't you,
Yes.
to kind of bring AI challenges into the classroom. How's that being received?
Extremely well, actually, because everybody has the same worry right now. And we're seeing it not just in the UAE, but globally. Right? We see it in different countries. We see a high number of graduates coming out of university, and they are not able to get a job. Why? Because AI, now that AI has just started, what does something do when it just starts? It starts replacing the low-level jobs, the beginner jobs, the junior jobs, right? And this is what AI has done. It started replacing the very junior level roles. And eventually it will start replacing other ones, the more senior ones. But right now, the problem is we have students and we have an entire generation that has studied something for the last 3, 4, 5 years, or whatever it is, right? They're coming out of university, and whatever they have studied is no longer relevant, because now it can be done using different softwares, different AI platforms, different websites, different whatnot, apps, whatever you want to call it. So the struggle for this generation is, how do I, because there's a vicious cycle, how do I make myself relevant? I need to get employed, but this job requires 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience. Okay, how do I get the experience? I need a junior role, but the junior role is not available because AI is doing everything junior. So and they're stuck. I read an article saying there's I think a 68% of graduates coming out of tech-based degrees, at least in Canada and North America, and these graduates are ending up in jobs in fast food because they cannot find jobs in software development, they cannot find jobs in web development, so we are trying to bridge that gap and make and give students experience to world problems, so they can start having experience whilst they're still at university, and they can kind of make themselves and their portfolio and their profile stand out and say, you know what, I took part in this problem, in this solution, and just because they haven't graduated and they don't have a degree yet doesn't mean they don't have a brain. A lot of the smartest minds in this world did not graduate from university.
Sure.
So you might have somebody able to solve, here in the UAE, you have problems in RTA trying to fix the traffic problem. You have different problems all over the entire supply chain in Dubai. A student, you should not underestimate a student. I believe students might be able to solve our problems. We're not coming up with solutions.
Mm, mm.
Consultants not bringing the solutions. The experts in the field not coming up with solutions. So let's look at students. Maybe they have a different way of thinking.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? And I guess if you kind of crowdsource intelligence or you crowdsource problem solving, you never quite know where the solution is going to come from.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like real world experience, I think.
Yeah.
How do data competitions like this, if you like, actually solve real world problems? Can you give me maybe a practical example, something like, I don't know, a business operation or a traffic issue that's been solved?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, initially, there's different platforms that do something similar to what we're doing. We're just very niche.
Right.
There's another platform that partnered up with the NFL. The NFL is a National Football League in the U.S., right? Very big. They, as a multi-billion-dollar company, they could not come up with a solution, and they did not want to give us a contract to a specific consulting house. So they sourced their problem solving. They posted their data of a specific team, right? Excuse me. And they said, we need to come up with a solution on how to analyze all of this data that's being collected by all the camera angles of the players. We need to be able to kind of tell the tendencies of specific players. We want to be able to, because when in sports, each team analyzes game tape, right?
Sure.
They analyze other players' tendencies. They want to know, do they have a more tendency to go left, to go right? Do they run plays on throwing plays
So that
or running?
split second of anticipation is the difference. Isn't
Yes,
it?
but that is, statistically speaking, there is a pattern. As random as people can say, no, it's in the moment, whatever they see. No, people have tendencies, right? So the NFL wanted to kind of open up to students and to everybody this problem. So they posted up a problem and they said, you know what, the solution to this problem will win $50,000 and a potential to be interviewed for a full-time job.
Okay.
Right? So this, I think, is it's opening up a different realm of how to hire people. So now, we've had a lot of these past years, the problem of I hire someone and they talk the talk, but eventually when it comes to putting pen to paper and actually working, they're not everything that they sold me on. They're not capable of what they said, right? And now with crowd problem solving, you can actually create this problem, this challenge as your entry point to that job. Right? Instead of interviewing, it's all nice and wonderful to have an interview, right? And that's another one of our products where we have an AI agent that interviews students or interviews candidates, right?
Okay.
But it's all nice and wonderful to have a conversation with someone, but somebody can be a very good talker, right? And somebody can have whatever degrees or create whatever profile on LinkedIn, but can they actually do it?
Yeah.
Right? And you go through the entire effort, the time, the money invested in hiring the person, and then 6 months down the line, because you give them leeway, you say, you know what, it'll take them 3 to 6 months to really get into the groove of things and adapt and whatnot. And 6 months down the line, you say, you know what, they're not actually capable of solving this problem I hired them for. So why not turn that around and say, you know what, solve this problem. The entire world is looking for jobs right now.
Sure.
Solve this problem. Once you solve this problem, I'll give you a reward, which ends up being almost like a salary, and I'll hire you, or there's a potential for our hiring. So we're turning that also into, for students, if you solve a problem, maybe you can guarantee yourself an internship. So we're trying to partner up with multiple different businesses around the UAE, saying, you know what, give us a problem, let us post that for the students in our university circle, and if one of the students solves it, then you give them an internship. That internship can turn into a full-time job. We're trying to help the next generation.
It's kind of turning things on its head, isn't it? There aren't that many businesses that go out to the market and say, give me a problem.
Yeah.
It's a novel way of doing it.
Yes.
Okay. Your platform is Compete X, is that right?
Yeah, that's one of our products.
That's one of
yes.
your platforms.
Yes.
So what kinds of companies or organizations are using, let's take Compete X as a example here. Is it big enterprises? Is it governments? Is it startups? What's Compete X for?
I'd say it's more small to medium. We still haven't breached the large enterprises. We'd love to, obviously.
But it's scalable to do that.
Yeah,
obviously.
of course. It's just we're still. We actually just recently launched Compete X, the product. We launched it in late October last year.
Okay.
Right. So we're just getting our feet wet. Now you have about 80% of small and medium-sized businesses want to adopt AI, but don't have the know-how and don't have the budget. We offer that solution where give us your data. Even if you have confidential data, you can give us dummy data. It's about the structure, right? It's about the template, if it's an Excel, if it's a SQL, whatever it is. Give us your data. If you want to put dummy data, right? And let us come up with a solution where let our entire network work together to come up with a solution for you. And if we do, then you hire the person or you give them a reward, right? So small and medium-sized businesses are much easier to convince because they don't have that budget.
Yeah.
Right now, the not the struggle, but the speed bump we're having with large enterprises is that they have the budget and they hire entire teams internally to think. They spend their time thinking, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to convince these large organizations, say, don't waste your team's time thinking, right? Let them do.
Yeah.
So let the thinking come out to the public. Let the public come up with a type of solution. And if you want, your team can implement it. You don't have to hire the person, just offer a reward or offer a certification or whatever it is, recognition. People want to work. People are willing to share their knowledge, and sometimes for free, sometimes for a certification that they'll put on their LinkedIn, sometimes for a recognition post on social media, sometimes for a monetary reward. But people want to work. They're just not given the opportunity. I'm trying to give them that opportunity.
Do you see this kind of model, this approach, changing how companies recruit data, recruit staff, recruit AI talent in the future?
I hope so, yes.
Yeah.
I have a hope.
There's nothing wrong with having a dream.
No.
Jadd. No, that's for sure.
Dreams do come true. Sometimes they don't. If they don't, then you got to pivot and move on to the next thing. But I believe my team and I and the company, I always tell them this, we're in the right place, we're doing the right thing at the right time. It's just a matter of not screwing it up.
Do you think, and I'm asking for an opinion here, so
Sure.
it really is speculative, but do you think sometimes, you talked about companies, hiring teams to think. Do you feel like companies sometimes overthink problems? And if you took an approach, you're smiling, an approach like yours and said, look, put this out because you don't know where the solution is really going to come from.
Yeah.
So you guys do. Stop overthinking. Do you feel that's an issue?
It is.
It seems to me that
I think it stems from what I used to say early on in our journey as a company. People care too much about names, right? They care too much about where the solution comes from. That's my point, right?
Okay.
I always said a kilo of gold is a kilo of gold, right? But then if you stamp a luxury brand name on it, then it doesn't change anything. It's still a kilo of gold, right? But now in the consulting world, everybody cares about having that big name, the name of Deloitte stamp. Deloitte came up with my solution. But nobody cares about Jadd in the middle of the woods on the other side of the world came up with my solution. They don't, credibility, for them, a big name is credibility. And I'm trying to tell the world and I'm trying to give the people, it doesn't matter who's behind you. It doesn't matter if you have a company behind you with a big name, or it doesn't matter if you're an individual freelancer. Knowledge is knowledge. If you have the solution, you should be as worth as much as the next person.
We love our brands, though, don't we? I suppose it's a
To
great
each their
exercise in
own.
marketing.
Yes,
yeah.
to each their own.
But
100%.
But your point is clear. I mean, how do you brand? How you can't brand knowledge, can you? Really? Isn't
They
that what
have.
people, well, I guess people do, but there's no reason to
They
assume that
have.
it
They
has
have
to be
behind.
that way.
I don't like to throw names on the bus, but they have. We live in a world where the big four firms, for example, the big four firms. I used to work at Deloitte.
I know
Okay.
you do. Yeah. Well, this is not you having a go at anybody in
No, not at
particular.
all. But I'm just trying to say it's not just because Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, or EY. They don't. You cannot just because they have their name. You cannot expect that they have the biggest and brightest brains in the world.
It's true. Well, there's consultants hate me when I say this, but the borrowing the watch, telling the time is an element, I think, of some. I don't really want to get into that, to be honest with you. It's a little bit unfair. Let me ask you about gamification. And you've written, I think, that it's the UAE's next productivity play. Why do competition and game mechanics work so well in data and artificial intelligence?
I mean, because right now there's so many experts. There's so many people upskilling themselves. There's so many people with the same or similar skills in AI. Everybody is looking for a way to make themselves stand out, right? And if I can make myself stand out, not because I have red hair, not because I am a 1 meter 95 and I stand out because I'm tall, no, but because I solved XYZ problem and I'm at the top of the leader scoreboard. It's all about being at the top. It's like when you play a game. When I was growing up, I used to go to the arcade, right? And when you play a game like Pac-Man or something like this, you would wait until the end of the game, game over, and you would see the scoreboard, right? And you would want to try again to try and beat it. So this is what I'm trying to encourage people. Even if you don't solve the problem fully, and you get somewhere towards the top 100 or the top 50. I'm trying to instill this, I want to do better. So they see the leader scoreboard, they say, you know what, I'm top 50. I can get top 25. I can get top 100. I have the knowledge. Just let me try and do better and improve. And there's this type of gaming mentality of, I always want to improve, right? Gamers have this. When they die and they get game over in their games, they want to try again, right? We're trying to do that. You finish the competition, you haven't solved the problem, you don't say, okay, thank you very much, good night. You try again. You keep going until you solve the problem.
Okay. AI advances pretty fast.
Very, yes.
It's moving at a speed that it's almost incomprehensible, I think. What skills do young professionals need to focus on now to stay relevant, to get to the top of that leaderboard?
I think they need to they need to upskill themselves in software that helps bridging the gap between humans and AI, right? Whatever AI is doing, they need some human input, right?
Yep.
AI came out of nowhere recently and went mainstream in the last 3, 4, 5 years or whatever it is, right? And all of a sudden, you started seeing jobs that you had never heard of before. You know, when somebody uses ChatGPT, your answer is only as good as your prompt. So now a job has been created of a prompt engineer. You have to know how to prompt the AI model to be able to get the right answer you want, because otherwise it's a very general answer.
Yeah.
Right? If you want something extremely specific, you got to know how to prompt it. And that's the same thing for designers, graphic designers, and so on. If they are looking to prompt now with Adobe Photoshop being integrated into ChatGPT, you got to be able to prompt ChatGPT correctly to say specifically where you want the lighting, where you want this, where you want. So it's not that AI will do the entire job on its own. So what I hope that the next generation, or this generation coming out of university these days, they find ways to upskill themselves into something that will bridge the gap between one and the other. It's not about, I have to beat AI. No, how do I work with AI to make myself better?
Well, it's a good management learning tool, isn't it, as much as anything? It's always been that way, to manage somebody or a team and to work effectively. You can only do that in so much as you prompt in the right way. I mean, it's a
Yes.
very similar skill, I
Yeah.
think, for people
I
to.
mean, it's like back in the day when
It is, yeah.
when we Google, you won't get the right answer from Google if you're not specific.
Do you know what's great is it's back in the day when we Googled.
Back in the day, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
gone.
know.
That's it. That's the I believe we're going towards a place where Google will not be dominant in the industry. It might not disappear. It might evolve into something different, but Google might not be what it used to be. It might not have the control over the entire web that it used to have.
It looks like it may not in the probably not well the way it's moving. Maybe in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
Who knows? I didn't expect that this morning. I mentioned earlier your attitude to AI, and you're in the AI space.
Yep.
You're a tech guy.
Yep.
You're an ex-consultant
Yep.
guy, and I would classify your attitude to AI as being ambivalent. Probably you're
little bit.
not to be, and I'm not trying to be negative, but you're wary of it making us lazy, not using it in the
Yes.
right way,
Yes.
aren't you?
Because a tool is only as good as how you use it or your intentions with it, right?
Yeah.
If people are using ChatGPT, for example, just to save time, right? They're not learning from it.
Yeah.
So if you're just trying to save time, then you will end up becoming lazy because everything will eventually be able to be done or you'll be assisted by ChatGPT or any other AI model, right? But if you learn from AI and you try and improve your skills and make yourself more relevant in the future and so on, then I'm all for that. But I'm all for working cohesively together.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to make AI and the human species all work together. Right? I don't want, we can replace you. Yes, fine. As a business decision, you can replace certain teams or certain people, and it's good for my bottom line. Yes, okay. But essentially, I have this attitude because a lot of people are always talking about replacing jobs, replacing AI, replacing humans with AI, and replacing.
Yeah.
And I don't like this mentality because replacing means your humans were lazy. I'm all about assisted. Get AI to assist you, to enhance you, right? Artificial intelligence, AI, I heard something a long time ago, around like 4 or 5 years ago. It has been labeled wrong, artificial intelligence. It should be augmented intelligence. It should augment our own intelligence. It should be augmenting us to be better, to do better, to know much more. But artificial kind of just has this underlying definition of it's on its own. It will work on its own. It thinks for itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Something outside of.
I don't like that. I don't want that.
Yeah. Okay.
I want us to utilize it.
Well, it's a healthy way to look at it.
Right.
I think.
I try.
I don't know how we're supposed to view AI at the moment. There are lots of different ways of receiving that information, I suppose. Final question for you. We've run over time, but anyway, looking ahead, where do you see AI-driven data ecosystems like yours, like Pangaea X, making the biggest impact over the next few years in business, cities, education, everything? Where would you like to see the impact as well?
Where would I like? I would like to see it everywhere, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? Not just because that's good for me, but where do I see it? I see it really coming all together if we go down the right road. Coming all together to have a more efficient life, whether that be through more efficient cities, efficient traffic control, efficient travel, efficient services, efficient education, because education is a big part of it. But again, we have to go down that right road. If we go down the wrong road, then the educational system will remain the way it is. It will not adapt. People will continue to study things that are irrelevant or that can be replaced eventually. It has to adapt. So the educational system has to go down the right road and take in AI and say, you know what? How can AI help my legal degree, or how can it help doctors, right? Let's not study the traditional doctor bachelor's or the, like how can we integrate AI to be part of this degree so that during those 4, 5, 6, 7 years that a student is studying medicine, it's not just studying the traditional medicine, but it's also studying how AI is involved within medicine and how we can utilize AI to help our medicine to improve our lives.
Yeah, no, I see where you go. So that we're not taking, by default, taking the easy route and letting it do it for us. We have to allow it to. It's a bolt-on, isn't it? It's an add-on.
I'll give you an example, if I may. I know we're over time, but I was just I was recently in Canada for a couple months.
Right.
And Canada used to be really at the top. I used to go to Canada every year for at least a month, 2 months, and used to spend time there. And it used to be so much more advanced, the medical system, that. Everything used to be so much more advanced. But it was stuck in its ways. It has not changed. It has not evolved, right? It has not gone to the next level, and it's still stuck where it was 20, 25 years ago. So 25 years ago, it was a leader. And right now, it has fallen behind. So it's the same thing for whatever it is, cities, industries, oil and gas, FMCG, whatever it is. Every industry, if you're a business in whatever industry, if you don't adopt AI, I believe you will fall behind because other people will adopt. And those people will be at the head of the line.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how AI evolves, and I'm aware of the irony of that entire statement, but there you go. It's another discussion, I think. Jadd Elliott Dib, the brilliantly named Jadd Elliott Dib, is the founder and CEO of Pangaea X. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. It's the Morning Drive. This is Mira Business FM. A like, subscribe is appreciated. Wherever you join us from, get in touch. Let us know what you think of our content and everything we do. You can watch or listen to again. Find us where you get your podcasts. Just search Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, your daily guide to the markets, money, and more.
This is the Morning Drive. It's Mira Business FM with me, Tim Elliott, and we are welcoming Dr. Talal Sheikh in a moment. He is an associate professor at the School of Mathematical and Computer Sciences at Heriot-Watt University here in Dubai. And the reason for him being here is this story that we want to cover and more in a few moments. Dubai accelerating its push to become a global AI and technology powerhouse. Now, the Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, recently hosted Elon Musk in Dubai, personally driving